When it comes to marketing, a lot of dental practices just throw a bunch of things at the wall to see if anything sticks. They try some flyers, then they try some SEO, then they try some social media. It's a common story. Months of effort put in, thousands of dollars spent, and their schedule is still filled with holes. In this video, I'm going to show you a better way to approach marketing that will not only drive more new patients, but will also have you spending a lot less on marketing as well. Let's get started. Hi, I'm Nick from RevUp Dental, the company that helps dentists drive more new patients, grow their practice, and beat their competition. New patients are the lifeblood of your practice, but attracting new patients has become a lot harder than it used to be. Years ago, a dentist could mail out some flyers and they'd probably fill up their schedule with more patients than they could handle. Unfortunately, those days are long gone. And in most cases today, if you ran a flyer campaign, you'd be lucky to even break even. Competition in the dental industry has increased tremendously, and so too have the options for marketing. You've got the same options you had in the past, like flyers, direct mail, newspaper ads, billboards, radio, etc. But you also have a host of new options like Google, Bing, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, SEO, content marketing, blog posts, and on and on and on. It can often feel like you're trying to navigate a maze. There's so many options, it's overwhelming. Most dentists ask us, what works? What doesn't work? Where do I even begin? Don't worry, by the end of this video, we're going to demystify a lot of the confusion when it comes to marketing and give you a much better idea of how to approach marketing for your practice so that you can drive more patients, but at the same time also reduce your costs. To start, it's important to understand that there's 4 key elements you need to consider when it comes to marketing your practice: building awareness, building trust, converting patients, and generating referrals. Most practices only do one of these elements well, and they neglect or they're not even aware of the other ones. Without all of these elements working together, it's like trying to drive a car that's missing a few wheels. You're not going to get very far. The first element, the one that most dentists think about when it comes to marketing, is building awareness. When you pay for ads on Google, or you try to do some SEO so that you can, rank higher in the search results, or you send out thousands of flyers to the neighborhood, you're trying to build awareness. Now, this is a very important step because, after all, people can't do business with you if they don't even know that you exist. However, building awareness is not enough to get butts in the chair. Most potential patients are not just going to go to the first dentist that shows up on Google. If you wanted to buy a pair of headphones on Amazon, are you just going to buy the first product that shows up on the search results? Or are you probably going to look at a couple of different headphones and see which ones you like best? People buy the products they like and trust, and they do business with people that they like and trust. Building trust is an element that most dental practices don't know how to do well. Most dental websites claim that they offer exceptional dentistry and that they treat patients like family, in the same way that every pair of headphones online claims that they offer exceptional sound quality. Is this effective in building trust? No, of course not, because these are all very superficial claims. You build trust by building social proof. So, for example, if your practice has 500 Google reviews and a 4.9 out of 5 rating, and another practice down the street only has 75 reviews and a 4.5 out of 5 rating, I'm going to trust that you're a better option than the other guy. If I see awards on your website like 3 Best Rated or Reader's Choice Award, that's going to make me trust you more. If I see patient testimonial videos on your website of happy patients and they're singing your praises and they're saying you're a great dentist, that is going to build trust. Unfortunately, most dentists, and honestly most marketing companies as well, don't understand what to do to effectively build trust. They just focus on pumping out more ads or trying to rank you higher on the Google search results, and they either don't understand or don't care how to get people to like and trust the practice. And unfortunately, the end result is that the dentist spends thousands of dollars and they have little to show for it at the end of the month when it comes to new patients. The third element you need to consider, and again, it's something most dentists don't understand and most marketing companies don't really help you with, is how to convert the patient from a caller to an actual booked appointment in your schedule. Marketing can get the phone to ring, but when those callers don't book, most practices assume that the patients weren't serious or that the leads were no good. In turn, most marketing companies assume that this is a problem on the dentist side, an internal issue that is the responsibility of the dentist to fix. They take the attitude of, we drive you leads, but after that, it's up to you. And unfortunately, that's often a recipe for failure. First, it's important to understand that people don't call a dental practice for fun. They want to buy dentistry, they're just not sure if they should buy it from you or from the 20 other dentists in the area who also offer the exact same services. Or maybe they're considering, should they spend $5,000 getting Invisalign or maybe take their family on a vacation this summer instead. Unless your staff is equipped with the tools and the training to better communicate the value of what you do, many of those potential patients may decide to book somewhere else. We believe it is the responsibility of the marketing company to help dentists and their staff convert those leads into patients and to teach the staff how to have better conversations, to help the patient understand that fixing their teeth is worth it, that they deserve to have a beautiful smile, and that they deserve to invest in themselves and their health and their well-being. Your staff should be trained on how to make patients feel like they're going to be in good hands, that the practice has an excellent dentist that will take great care of them, that there's many other patients who've had the same fears and anxieties that they've had and are ultimately happy and relieved that they moved forward with improving their smile, and they will too. The last element you need to look at is how to turn a patient into a repeat patient and keep them coming back. And ultimately, how to turn that repeat patient into a promoter, someone who not only keeps coming back, but they like you and your practice so much that they recommend you to their friends, family, and colleagues. So many practices focus on driving new patients, but pay little attention to the back end, and they don't track how many of those patients continue to come back, whether or not they're happy, how many of them are referring more patients, etc. I've asked many dental practices questions like, what's your attrition rate per year? What's your referral rate? What's the average patient lifetime value? And I've yet to meet one that can answer those questions. In most cases, they don't even know what I'm talking about. The key to driving more patients is to track and improve the experience that those patients have so that one patient eventually turns into 2, 3, 4 patients or more. And those in turn bring in their friends and family, and your patient base grows. Now, it's important to understand that every dental practice gets referrals, okay? But some practices are 2, 3, 4 times better at driving referrals than others. Just because you get referrals doesn't actually mean you're as good at generating referrals as your competitors down the street. To improve your patient flow and reduce your marketing spend, you first need to track these 4 elements effectively. This is exactly what we do with our RevUp dental software. And it's the key to why we've been so effective with marketing. We don't just focus on, getting more clicks or getting more Facebook likes, but rather by looking at the entire patient journey and implementing strategies that improve, every step of that journey to create a better experience for those patients. Let's look at some examples. Let's say that you're spending $1,000 per month on Google Ads. Now, most marketing companies will report how many clicks you got to your website. And let's say on average, it costs you $5 per click to run ads on Google. So with that $1,000 budget, you might get 200 clicks to your website this month. But then you ask, okay, but of those 200 clicks, how many resulted in a call from a real potential patient who's never been to our practice before, and he found us on Google. He clicked one of the ads. The vast majority of practices we've spoken with can't accurately answer this question. They may have a vague idea or a theory, but never really any concrete numbers. For example, they may know that maybe their practice got 300 calls last month, but they don't know how many of those calls were from new patients or how many of those calls were from new patients who found us through Google or found us through the Google ads we were running. Now let's assume, for example, maybe 10% of those clicks turn into callers, right? Or they maybe fill out an appointment request form. So from those 200 clicks, we got 20 new patient leads. If the cost to run the ads was $1,000, that generated 200 clicks, so $5 per click. And in turn, that got us 20 new leads. That means that each lead cost us $50. So the next question is, well, how many of those leads turned into booked appointments and they actually showed up? Again, this is something that the vast majority of practices and marketing companies can't accurately answer. I've almost never seen a case where somebody pulls up a report and says, here's the name of 17 patients that they found us through Google, they clicked one of our ads, they called the practice and booked an appointment. Most practices have no idea how well their marketing is working or even if it's working. But let's assume you do track it and maybe 50% of the people who call your practice or request an appointment online actually convert and book an appointment and show up. So of those 20 new patient leads, we generated 10 new patients. If each lead cost us $50, that means each new patient cost us $100. Given that the average patient will probably spend hundreds of dollars on their first appointment, I would say this marketing campaign is generating a pretty good return on investment. Now from there, we would want to continue and measure things like, well, how many of those patients come back for hygiene? How many of them end up referring someone else to your practice? How many of those patients end up doing bigger procedures like veneers, implants, Invisalign, etc.? Maybe you want to find out how many years on average do those patients remain a patient at your practice, and on and on and on. The power of tracking all these metrics like we do with our software is that you start to understand where you are strong, where you are weak, and what parts of the patient journey you need to improve in order to drive better results. Because let's say, for example, you found out that it didn't cost you $5 per click to drive a new patient to your website. Maybe instead you found out it was costing you $15 per click. Well, now that $1,000 investment into Google Ads is not getting you 200 visitors to your website. Instead, you're only getting 67. Assuming all else is the same, your cost per patient would go from $100 per patient to almost $300 per patient. Maybe that's still a good deal for you. But what if you also found out that you weren't converting 10% of those clicks into callers or appointment requests? What if you found out that only 5% of people actually, that went to your website actually picked up the phone and called your practice? Well, now the cost per patient would be $600. What if your staff weren't converting 50% of those callers into booked appointments? What if they were great at converting patients who were referrals to your practice, but if somebody found you on Google and they decided to call, they were only able to convert 30% of those leads into an appointment because maybe they were just never provided with the necessary training to be successful? Well, now all of a sudden, you're actually spending $1,000 per new patient. Not such a great campaign, is it? You may be spending $1,000 to bring in a patient that only spends $500 on dentistry. Essentially, you've built a wonderful engine that can take $1 and turn it back into 50 cents at the end of the month. This is why it's so important that you track these metrics like we do. You can't make good decisions without it. It's like you're flying blind. The reason most marketing companies don't track these metrics is if they did, you might not like what you see. And many companies operate under the assumption that they'll probably keep the clients paying longer if they don't really know how well their marketing is working. It's easy to tell a client, oh, you just gotta be patient. Marketing takes time. And it can take months and sometimes years before a dentist eventually realizes that their practice isn't really growing and the marketing dollars they're spending are just being flushed down the drain. So in summary, you need to build awareness because it doesn't matter how good of a dentist you are if nobody knows you exist. But you also need to implement strategies to build trust and to get people to like you and trust you so that, even if they visit multiple dental websites, which most people do, they'll still feel like you're the best choice and they're more likely to pick you versus your competitor down the street. You need to train your staff and equip them with the systems and tools to help them in converting those new patient leads from a lead to a booked appointment And finally, you need to track and improve the patient experience to make sure that those patients turn into repeat patients, and eventually those repeat patients turn into promoters that will help you generate more referrals. In order to make all of this happen, you ultimately need to track your data so that you can see how each element is working and where you need to put more time, money, and attention into improving so you can drive more new patients and ultimately lower your marketing costs. I hope you found this video useful. If you want to see more videos like this one, consider subscribing to our YouTube channel. And if you want to see a demo of our RevUp dental software, learn more about what we track and how we help dentists grow their practice while reducing their costs, then visit our website at www.revupdental.com and request a demo with our team. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.